It's 1,508 kilometres. We've had to change the route a little bit en route just because of terrain and things like that changing and not being exactly what we thought. So it might actually be a little bit longer than that. But yeah, I'm doing around normally about 42 kilometres a day, which is a marathon distance. We've had a lot of people like beeping their horns all the way through from the top of Scotland, literally from the word go, from John O'Groats all the way down in the Highlands where there was just almost nobody. But all of a sudden you'd have people beeping their horns and shouting out the window and running alongside the car and chucking money in the car. And we've had that all the way down the country, which was incredible. The whole challenge is a rugby relay to promote women's rugby. So I'm going into as many rugby clubs as we can. We've planned 17 different clubs. Where I started off with a ball from Exeter Chiefs, and then I'm passing off a ball. Our first club was again in Lochaber in Scotland. So I started off passing them the Chiefs ball, and then they gave me a signed ball, and then I passed it to the next club. And it's basically a relay to promote inclusivity within women's rugby and to demonstrate to people how incredible the sport is and how inspirational the women are that play it. I sort of found rugby about the same time I had my leg amputated about 3 years ago, and I've seen the numbers rise from going to Exeter Chiefs the first time and watching the women play, seeing, sort of being there in the depths of winter and seeing that it was like 100-200 people there, and seeing that rise regularly to sort of about 1,000 people. But there's been a couple of clubs around the country last year that closed down. So Wasps, which were a massive club, and they've been there. I've been around since about 1860 something. I did a post about it the other day. Another one, Worcester Warriors, again a club that's been around for a very, very long time. They've had a strong women's side for quite a long time as well. And they closed down. They went into administration because of costs, and they couldn't keep going. And that's a huge worry for all the clubs, to be honest. And although things are getting better, costs are also rising with, around the country with cost of living and things like that. So not as many people can go to the clubs. But if that keeps happening and people aren't aware of the fact that actually to watch a women's game it's a tiny fraction of the cost of watching a men's game. And I'm not saying don't watch men's games, because that's just as important and just as valuable. But actually, if people were to support the women as well as the men, then they'll keep their clubs there for longer, and they'll keep, it gives the women a big boost as well at the games. So when you're sitting there and you're in the stands and you're cheering away, it's a wonderful, amazing atmosphere to be in, and it's just a great day out. It's basically a lovely family day out. The terrain's kind of changed all the way down. I thought Scotland would be the worst, and that was pretty bad, and then it got worse when I went to Cumbria, still, and then it got worse still when I went to Wales, which I was not expecting. There's the three parts to the whole challenge. Obviously the women's rugby side, and if I can find out that 50 more people have gone into a women's game on the back of seeing about the challenge and seeing about women's rugby, that would make me just massively happy. The second part is obviously the fundraising. So fundraising for the Aaron Lewis Foundation and the Exeter Chiefs Foundation. I have a target in mind. I don't tend to share it because I think it's a bad omen, but if I can hand over a big check to each one of those charities and allow them to keep going and keep helping people like me, then that would be amazing. And lastly, one of the big things for me is showing people what they can do with what kit they have. So, if you want to do a marathon, you don't need the best pair of trainers in the world. You just need the will to do it. And it's the same with using a wheelchair. You've already got the kit there. That's your legs now. Just because people say that they're not really built for doing this kind of thing, which the NHS will say, unfortunately. I got told the same thing, you shouldn't be doing marathons in your normal chair. And it's like, well, why not? It's my legs. If you have legs, you go for a walk. I've got a chair, why not go for a walk in it? And you can join your local 5K club and you can go and do a 5K. It just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of training, just like any sport, really.